Giddy up, as we're about to look at 18 ideas for the Horse Ranch expansion pack. As always, these can be smaller side activities or larger ideas that can form a focus for your household. Let's get started. First up is to go camping at the Saddle Summit campgrounds. Located in the Galloping Gulch area of Chestnut Ridge, the campgrounds are located across the Rocky Bridge, and they make for the perfect spot to spend the night, with a public bathroom and campfires already set up and ready to be used. All you need to do is bring along a sleeping bag and potentially a few friends as you settle in for a night toasting marshmallows under the stars. Next is to have a horse as a pet. Yes, sometimes it's not about going super deep with horses, but just loving to have one in the family that you can care for, love, and go riding around on in various worlds. Now let's get rich from cutting grass. Yes, I see your confusion and I'll continue anyway. And I'm talking about prairie grass to be precise. You can purchase this for 5 simoleons, or alternatively enable the Wild Prairie Grass Lot Challenge to see it pop up around your lot. Once you have a lot of prairie grass, then all you'll need to do is harvest it, netting you some grass and often miscellaneous ingredients and collectibles. The big win though comes from finding finely aged nectar when cutting down this grass, which can be sold for thousands. And I do love stumbling upon a small fortune in the grass. More great news is that prairie grass patches will regrow over time, meaning that you don't have to jump into buy mode every minute to repurchase it. For the fourth gameplay idea, let's explore the Dreadhorse Caverns. This is a hidden cave located within the Galloping Gulch area of Chestnut Ridge, and it's a really fun and rewarding cave to explore, having levels that you can progress through via completing text-based scenarios. During each scenario, you can go for the offensive, which gives a chance to deal damage, or defensive, which gives you a chance to heal. And you'll need to keep completing these scenarios to progress through the cave. Sometimes you'll need specific items in your inventory to progress, like a sheep or prairie grass, and know that there's also a limit to how much you can explore the cave each day. Once progress reaches 100, you'll be able to increase the cave's level, and it can be really fun slowly working out how to go deeper and deeper and find more and more treasure. If you're struggling to find the Dreadhorse Caverns, then I like to first locate the Rocky Bridge and then look underneath it, whereby you'll notice a pathway branching out from the stream which leads to the cave. Moving on, and let's become a rescue horse trainer. You can purchase rescue horses for 250 simoleons at the Equestrian Center, or by calling the Ranch Animal Exchange from the home section of your phone. Once bought, then by training up your rescue horse and potentially entering into and placing in horse competitions, you can increase your horse's value before potentially selling them down the track for a profit. While you can also just do this with regular horses, know that they'll cost 1,000 simoleons to purchase, and personally it makes me feel a little bit happier doing this with rescue horses. Also, I like the challenge that it brings, as rescue horses usually come with traits that make them a little bit harder to care for and train. Next up is to become a competitive horse rider, and this does overlap with horse training a little bit. However, here you'll specifically be training up and raising horses to compete in horse competitions, which can be entered into at the Equestrian Center in the New Appaloosa area of Chestnut Ridge, or alternatively by using a ranch community board. While a rider can compete in multiple competitions per day, a single horse can only compete once per day. There are 4 competition categories, being barrel racing, endurance racing, show jumping, and western pleasure. Each has 4 difficulty stages, going from beginner to intermediate, expert, and finally master, and placing first, second, or third in a stage will unlock the difficulty above it for the category, and also make you a decent amount of simoleons too, with more difficult competitions paying more. In order to do well, you'll want to train up your horse's skills that relate to the particular competitions that you're competing in, as well as your rider's horse riding skill, and also make sure that your horse is in a good mood. It's a great way to make money, and it can be super fun to collect the 15 different trophies that you can get from competing. It's also worth noting that horses who have placed in all 4 events at the master rank will also be able to enter and compete in the Ultimate Horse Championship too. And while it costs 2,000 simoleons to enter, a win here will net you 6,000 simoleons, so it's a very lucrative way to make money. Also consider having a sim who plans on competing in competitions pick up the Championship Rider aspiration. Completing this awards you with the grand and Champ Trainer trait, which allows you to train horses faster and sell horses for higher prices. Become confident more often when riding and training horses, and horses will have more fun when you ride them too. In addition, you'll be able to give competition advice to Sims, giving them a confident moodlet for a few hours. Now let's embrace the Cowpoke dance. That's right, break out your radio and let's hit the dance floor, because for some reason, watching Sims do the Cowpoke dance really does make me happy. Almost as happy as when Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera comes on during a night out and I get to dance like a genie. I know, it's hard to beat. But also yes, Sims who embrace the Cowpoke dance are serving it and I'm here for it. A side note here is that if you have the Get Together expansion pack, then doing the Cowpoke dance will train up your dancing skill too. For the following gameplay idea, you'll want to whip out your cameras or potentially your easels or digitalistic sketch pads, as becoming a horse photographer or painter is next. It can be so much fun to capture your horse's moments and turn them into art, and if your sim becomes highly skilled at painting, then it can be very lucrative as well. When it comes to photography, know that you can specifically take photos of your horses and that they will indeed strike a pose for you, which is so incredibly cute. And yes, horses poses might put your sim's poses to shame. For the 9th idea, we're going to have a mini sheep and goat farm. These animals can be purchased from the Ranch Animal Exchange and they are super adorable and a lot of fun to care for. I mean, they bounce. What more do you want? Also, you can size them up for chaotic moments. So yes, many wins. You will need to feed, clean, and give your mini animals lots of attention, and in return, mini sheep will produce wool and mini goats milk. And these can be sold for simoleons, or if you have the Cottage Living expansion pack, then they can be received as items. In particular, the black mini sheep is very expensive and costs 2,000 simoleons, and its wool is worth around 200 simoleons when the sheep is happy, with the value fluctuating depending on how happy your mini animals are. Speaking of making mini animals happy, a great way to do this is through the all-new Ranch Animal Day event, and hosting a successful event will see you earn some simoleons while your mini animals are showered with love from strangers and left in a very happy state. Finally, if you're living the mini animal life, then consider the mini sheep and mini goat grazing and kids party community jobs. Actioned from a community board, these rabbit hole activities can be a great way to make a bit of extra money too. Now let's take a look at becoming a horse breeder, which is a pretty good way to make some extra money, seeing as newborn foals are worth around 1,000 simoleons. Adults and elder male stallions are able to breed with adult female mares. Once you're friends with a horse, then in friendly interactions you'll be able to encourage them to breed with another horse that they know and ideally have a positive relationship with. If your horses agree that they do in fact want to get it on, then once the G-rated horse woohoo is complete, then there's a good chance that the mare will become pregnant, giving birth to a little foal a few days later. And know that foals will have one of 3 bonus traits, being curious, playful, or hardy. If a foal's parent has the championship horse trait, which is earned by them placing 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in any master rank competition, then their offspring will also receive the champion genes trait. Horses with this trait will improve all their skills faster and are also able to be sold for more, making it great for horse breeding and also horse training. It can be a cute and different way to make money with your adorable horses, of course provided that you can bring yourself to part with your little foals, because mentally selling a wobbly little foal is just not easy to do. Moving on to heading out for a secret swim. Located behind the Big Sky Reach lot is a large open water source that you can swim in, and it's rather hidden, as you'll need to follow a long and discreet path down to reach it. That being said, it's gorgeous and surrounded by rocks and a flowing waterfall, meaning it's the perfect place to escape to for a solo dip or even a romantic getaway from society. Next up, we're going to be running a Nectar vineyard or a winery. While a vineyard is generally a place where grapes are grown, in The Sims, I see it as a space where you grow any and all crops that assist in the production of nectar. So in addition to grapes, you could grow apples, potatoes, strawberries, lemons, trash fruit, and even death flowers. While you could play as an ingredient producer and just garden, you can also take this further and make it a winery, whereby you use the nectar maker and ingredients to produce nectar, which is like the Sims version of wine, before storing it away and letting it age in order to increase its effects and value. And it can be really fun to create and store wine before letting it age in a cellar and selling it for huge profits. If you decide to go down this path, then definitely consider the Expert Nectar Maker aspiration, which completing grants the Nectar Know-It-All trait. This trait allows the nectar you create to start out slightly aged, and in addition, the trait will also make it so that your Sim's bladder need doesn't take a hit when drinking nectar, and that your Sim will also get a strong, confident moodlet after drinking nectar as well. For the 13th gameplay idea, we're taking the nectar we've made and using it to run a retail liquor store. And note that this will require the Get to Work expansion pack. After you've made and aged the nectar, then you can create a store to sell it in, allowing you to get a decent markup for what you've made. And this can be a fun business concept to bring to life. In particular, excellent quality vitality nectar that's finely aged will sell for upwards of 30,000 simoleons. So this can be very lucrative when you factor in a large markup. Or even before the markup, let's be honest. If you don't have Get to Work, then alternatively, if you have the market tables from either the Jungle Adventure game pack or the City Living or Eco Lifestyle expansion packs, then you can sell nectar on them as well at a massive 300% markup for insane profits. Moving on to living forever with Vitality Nectar. If you produce this nectar, then know that drinking it decreases your Sim's age by a few days. So yes, regularly producing and drinking this can see your Sim live forever, which we love. Also, a side note is that if a ghost Sim drinks Vitality Nectar, then they'll return back to life as a regular Sim. Do with that information what you wish. Selling horse manure is next. Yes, we're going there. You'll see your horses poop. A lot. Too much even. But the silver lining is that when you clean up their poop, you'll gain some horse manure in your inventory, and while this can be used as fertilizer, it can also be sold for a few simoleons. If you have a lot of horses, then the poop and its value will actually add up, and it can become a decent income source. You know, provided you kind of don't think about the type of business that you're really running. The 16th gameplay idea is to complete community jobs. These are rabbit hole work events that can be taken from a ranch community board, and they're all horse or mini animal focused. While most require either a horse or some mini sheep or goats, one task allows you to train a neighbor's horse without actually owning a horse. How well you do at these jobs and your payout often depends on your own horse riding skill and your horse's skills, or alternatively the amount of mini goats or sheep that you have, and they can be a good way for your Sims to make some extra pocket money. Now let's run a ranch gathering event. Get ready to get grilling, nectar making, cowpoke dancing, and all around living your best social ranch life with this event. It can be a fun gathering to hold, and depending on how well it goes, you'll be able to make a small chunk of change for your efforts too. And the final gameplay idea is what we all knew would be here, being to run a ranch. This kind of encapsulates many of the other gameplay ideas in here and brings them together. And you'll want a large space where you can raise various animals and grow an assortment of crops. And of course, tailor your ranch to make it exactly what you want it to be. For this playstyle, you'll definitely want to consider hiring a ranch hand to help you run everything. And thankfully, ranch hands exist as they'll allow your Sims to live a little while everything remains under control. Provided that they show up for work, of course, because sometimes they're like, yeah, no thank you, and then you'll have to rehire them. And with that, we're at the end. That's 18 gameplay ideas for the Horse Ranch expansion pack. If you have any cool Horse Ranch gameplay ideas that you'd like to share, then please let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing day. See you later!